Did you know that there's a 14-year-old boy saint? His name is Saint Kizito. Charles Lwanga was a black African male who was around 26 years old at the time of his martyrdom. He was the chief of the royal pages under the Ugandan king, King Mwanga II. Charles was secretly a Catholic who had been baptized in the Catholic faith. Kizito was also a black African boy who was only 14 years old at the time of his death. He was known to be a cheerful and innocent child who was one of Charles Lwanga's closest spiritual charges. In 1885, King Mwanga grew to intensely dislike Christians, seeing them as disobedient and overly influenced by foreigners. When Joseph Mukasa, a fellow Christian official, was executed by the king for refusing to participate in immoral activities, Charles stepped up to secretly protect the remaining Christians and to spiritually lead the young pages in the royal court. It was during this time that Charles saw the strong faith in Kizito, the gentle boy who earnestly desired to learn about Christ. So Charles secretly taught Kizito and the other young pages about Christianity, baptism, prayer, and moral courage. When some pages resisted the king's immoral commands, including his sexual advances, King Mwanga grew enraged and publicly confronted the court, demanding that the Christian pages declare themselves. Charles, Kizito, and several other young men boldly responded, "We are Christians, and we shall remain so until death." Immediately, they were thrown into prison and separated from the other boys in the palace. Some of them were tortured, but all remained steadfast in their faith. One night while in prison, Charles Lwanga secretly baptized Kizito, knowing that they might die the next day. Charles told Kizito, "Don't be afraid of death, my son. You will see God today." The following morning, they were tied with ropes and marched 37 kilometers to Namugongo, the site of the executions. Along the way, Charles encouraged the others, especially the younger boys like Kizito, to keep the faith and to pray. He also urged them to forgive their persecutors. For 3 days, they were kept in harsh conditions at Namugongo, while the king prepared for Charles's execution. But even in the midst of their fear, Kizito remained cheerful. He smiled, joked, and prayed, giving a powerful witness for such a young child. On June 3, 1886, Charles was taken aside while the others watched in horror. He was tied tightly and burned alive slowly, piece by piece. Even as the flames rose, Charles prayed and cried out, "Katanda, my God!" He offered his life for Christ and for the salvation of his people. Moments later, Kizito was brought forward. Despite his young age, he was still smiling, calm and unshaken. The fire consumed him and he died like Charles, with faith, innocence, and courage that belied his years. Today, Charles and Kizito are venerated together as saints. They are symbols of purity, strength, and youthful faith for Africa and the world. Share this with your friends and family. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.